Thank you very much. So the future of technology. I want to build a picture, and I don't want to confuse you. I plan on overwhelming you, all right? That's my hope, okay? So if you say, that guy overwhelmed me, I've done my job, okay? I'm going to throw a lot of stuff at you because this stuff is here. Everything I'm talking about exists, okay? And I'm one of those people, I've been pitching social media for 6 years. So believe me, I've been working with clients. I'm not trying to be, if I seem sort of, hyperbolic and passionate, right? I want to teach the things that I've been learning about, and hopefully they help you. So social TV. People here familiar with social TV, the idea of it? Okay, if you aren't, all it means is that now at couch, I don't know if that's a term, please coin it, when you're sitting there watching TV, you have a second screen, right? My wife, my lovely wife is here today. So Steve's parents, my wife, good day here. She's on Facebook watching TV, right? American Idol for years. You've texted at the end of the show. All this means now is we're getting back to the place we used to be with I Love Lucy in one sense, right? A live show is on. Usually now, social TV is big with sporting events. So instead of having to go on Twitter and do this type of thing, which is great, you can use an app like GetGlue and say, hey, I'm watching the Super Bowl. What game do you like? Why is this of interest to marketers? Why do you think, right? Specific demographics, activity, what people are actually doing, as compared to Nielsen surveys in the days of old when I think I watched that show last Friday. There was a horse in it. It was white, there was Lone Ranger, I'm pretty sure, right? Now we know exactly, potentially, what people are watching. By the way, I Love Lucy, very quick story. The rumor had it that years ago, the water company in New York apparently got worried during I Love Lucy because during the ads, everyone ran and flushed the toilet at the same time, right? Love that story. Now, in a sense, we're doing that, but you can be watching a show and be social, or you can time shift. If you missed Mad Men the night before, the water cooler conversation can still happen socially. It's a huge boon for, quote, traditional media and advertising. Now, what's this a picture of? Facial recognition technology and eye tracking technology. Microsoft Kinect using the Xbox. We haven't talked as much about gaming. If you haven't read the book, it's a brilliant book. It's a must-read called Reality is Broken. I'm not going to remember all the stats, but we as marketers, I'm 42, we may say, gaming, Farmville, okay, we should pay attention. Why is that? It's like a $32 billion industry. And the number of people around the world who are playing it, it's something like 45% of the planet are playing games, everything from Tetris to multi-online player games. So it's okay if it's not your preference to use games, but not knowing about it means you're ignoring some of the central channels people use to communicate. At Porter Novelli, I was EVP of a global PR firm in social media. I left to now consult, doing emerging in social media technology. Now I work with a lot of nonprofits. But I'm fascinated in the marketing arena, how the technology that was just discussed and you'll talk about today, to me it's inevitable. It's a done deal. So what I'm interested in is the things like the Googles and the Facebook and the social media world that I live in, and most of the audiences that I speak to are the folks who are the marketing folks, and even now still a lot of them, you mentioned augmented reality, and they're like, it's like a duck, like a digital duck on a phone? What's the deal, right? They don't even get it. So I know that you get it. But air rights, I believe it started in the States in the 50s or 60s. An advertising person went to Japan and saw all these billboards and realized, or maybe he copied it from Japan probably, wow, you can charge, people are looking up, and in Times Square this is very evident, so much eye space goes up to signs. So now if you're an apartment building, why shouldn't you be able to charge for the signs above your building? So air rights. The idea of course, I'm sure you know. So now, augmented reality to me, about a year and a half ago, I thought, well, virtual air rights, right? What about the space that obviously you're holding up a mobile phone, or if it's glasses, I think it's going to be contact lenses pretty soon. MIT has come out with some very good, at least preliminary contact lenses. I'm interested in virtual advertising rights. So I'll give you a couple of examples just to start things off. You may think, well, who cares? This isn't going to make sense. This is an app that came out over a year ago, right? It's very funny in one sense, sad in another. BP, it's an app when you look at the BP logo, the logo just bursts into flames and oil spills out, right? So it's funny, but it's a guerrilla copyright infringement, right? End of story. That's their logo, and you're using it. I saw some on the disco in the audience. What I love is, now again, and please feel free to argue with me afterwards. I'd love it. All right? I'm not saying this is a done deal. I'm saying it's a question that has not been answered. And it's an opportunity for the augmented reality community, especially where it regards identity, right? But again, BP could say, hey, that's my logo, and I could say, well, it's my phone. I could download whatever I want on my phone. Maybe the app developer would get in trouble, okay? But I want to make you think about the opportunities for advertising in general.
What I'm really fascinated with in my work right now is something called the personal data economy, right? And a lot of the ways that marketers need to, in my opinion, consider how to work with consumers is to understand how to earn their trust, right? No matter what vertical it is, B2B, B2C, a primary thing is letting the people know who you want to use your brand or product or service to feel they can trust you. So say to your customers, the way that all of the data about your actions 3 or 4 or 5 years ago used to be somewhat simple, right? You made a purchase on a credit card and that showed up as a string, one aspect of your data. Now the thousands and thousands of tweets that you send over a month, all the Facebook posts, your GPS data, what you buy, biometric data from things like Fitbits, all these things in one sense are putting together a bigger digital picture of you almost than your actual physical or carbon-based life form. So it's a massive, huge, the whole big data conversation you should and need to be thinking about, but not just how do we make it work for our company from a technical standpoint, but how do we address consumers and teach them about the personal data.
What's the biggest bank going to be in 3 years? Anyone say it with me? All right, one more time, ready? And face, there we go, thank you. What do I mean by that? Okay, 900 million active users, I forget what percent of them, pay actual money through a credit card to buy Facebook credits, doing things like Zynga and Cityville that we showed before, right? The money that Facebook makes off of all of those transactions, a lot of pundits, financial pundits, think that within 3 years, Facebook will be the largest financial institution defined in the sense of specie and money going through them on the planet. Why do you think Goldman Sachs is involved with Facebook? Because they're going to be the biggest financial institution in the planet. And now I also want to show you connectivity. Guess what's connected? Your social graph, your social currency, and your influence, and your actual currency. Think that just happened? No. It's very, very carefully planned. Augmented reality, I love talking about this technology. Now all this data that's sort of out there in the ether, the virtual world, you can see it, right? You take your phone. All augmented reality means is your smartphone. On your camera view, you turn on your camera view and you scan like this. And you can see different layers of virtual data. A lot of people think you're going to wear your phone in either glasses or contact lens form, right? And people say, every time I do this talk, they're like, I'm never going to wear my phone, but we walk around like this into traffic. I do, right? I realized as a person who's been in social media for 5 or 6 years, I'm concerned that what we get focused on is just telling everyone what we do. Hey, I'm really smart. Hey, I'm really smart. Where also the actions of what you actually do, especially with GPS data, you can actually tell what I'm doing. So pretty soon, consumers, as well as brands, are going to have to start, talking about the things, or the stuff that's reflected of what they actually do is going to be pretty important. So I came up with this term also for Mashable called accountability-based influence. And what I mean by that is there's more and more metrics of companies who use things besides what you say to measure who you are.